Hey everyone, welcome back to 2 Idiots Review. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Hannah. And
breaking news.
Yeah, maybe. None of this has been confirmed, but there were some reports that Henry Cavill is out as Superman. There were some negotiations, and they wanted him to make a cameo in Shazam, but there was some scheduling conflicts, or there was some money conflicts, both are being reported. And so now they're just saying that he's done. Warner Brothers is just get out. So, what?
Which, for starters, it would have been cool if he could have had a cameo in Shazam.
Yes, that would have been kind of cool.
But, that's huge. If it is confirmed later on, like you said, it's all just speculation right now, so we could just be talking about nothing. But in the event that it is, that is true, that's, in my opinion, that's devastating for the DCEU.
That's rough because one, I really like Henry Cavill as Superman. I think we haven't really seen him much as Clark Kent, but I like him as Superman. I think he was well cast. Unfortunately, they've kind of done a disservice to his character because, where is Man of Steel 2?
That's true. They jumped ship for Wonder Woman 2, and there's even
all these other
they're already
things.
in pre-production for a Suicide Squad 2, and I'm your biggest Superman is the biggest character that DC has.
Not even just DC. I would say any comic. That's
the biggest superhero character in the world. As a kid, I knew who Superman was, but as a kid, I didn't know who Iron Man or Captain America or any other characters were.
Yeah.
But Superman is the biggest superhero character in the whole world, and he should be the anchor of their whole universe.
Yes.
And to lose his character, it's that's devastating.
So the article that I read said that Warner Brothers seemed kind of okay with him being peace out, because they're doing a Supergirl origin story with her as a teenager, which would put Clark at a toddler. So age-wise,
is that supposed to be taking place in current time in the? He's already an adult.
That's why they're okay with him leaving, because now they don't have to worry about the discrepancy in ages.
There still would be, because his movie still exists.
I don't know. Maybe they're just rebooting the whole story. I don't know.
Because he's already in multiple movies. You can't just go back and he doesn't exist.
I'm curious for the second Justice League. I don't know if it's been filmed, if they filmed them both together they did both Avengers Infinity War and Avengers 4, or if it's going to be something that's going to be filmed later, because I'm how do you do another Justice League without Superman?
I don't think they filmed the second Justice League.
And Ben Affleck already wants out, so with Henry Cavill leaving, he's I'm out too, guys, we're done. So now it's you're losing Batman and Superman.
It looks like Flashpoint might be back on.
Right? They're we canceled Flashpoint for the Flash movie, but now we need that back.
It's a necessity. It has to be.
So I don't know what Warner Brothers is doing over there, but but like I said, it's all still speculation. I think his manager had kind of said that the cape will still be in the closet, kind of hinting that he's still open to doing more. He just he couldn't do Shazam because of scheduling, or they just weren't going to give him as much money as he wanted to do it. So who knows? You don't really know what version of the story is true, because in the article, it's always just sources say. And it's well, who are these sources? I could be your source for all, for anybody knows. So, who knows? It's just, there's a lot of things up in the air, and it's kind of a mess over there.
That's just when you thought that the greatest threat to a fictional universe was the Infinity Gauntlet, and then Warner Brothers was hold my beer. I'm ready for this.
They're we're firing Superman.
My personal opinion is that Warner Brothers is the one that's kind of screwing everything up. Nothing against DC or how,
regardless of whether you like the DCEU or not,
it's Warner Brothers that's coming in and screwing a lot of it, especially with the actors, because Ben Affleck has been hinted at wanting out as Batman and not resigning, not doing.
Hinted. I think he's
or it's confirmed or whatever. dropped out of the Batman solo movie, and now that's a whole different thing now.
I don't think he dropped out. The new director that they got for the Batman solo movie was like, oh no, we're not doing it with Ben Affleck. And it's like, well, then what?
And so, but yeah, I just feel like Warner Brothers, they're so... just my personal opinion, I could be wrong on this, but I feel like they're so interested in making money and not so interested interested about the characters and interested about telling good stories, which is what it should be about, because if you do those two things, the money will come in.
You're going to make money.
So it's just, they're so focused. That's why I feel like they're so focused on like, oh, let's give these people a movie and let's give these characters a movie.
I know,
and let's
they're
do
like Oprah. Like you get a movie and you get a movie.
And like, let's do like a Joker origin story that's not even with the Joker, the new Joker that we have. Yeah. And let's make a Batman movie that's not a part of our cinematic universe that we're creating. Like, they're just making all these movies, I feel like, just because they feel like it'll bring in money, and they don't care about the characters or about the stories that DC has to offer.
If you're going to do a shared universe, then you don't want to be doing things outside of it and be like, oh, so there's the Joker in the shared universe here, but then we're going to do a solo one over here that has nothing to do with this, so don't let that confuse you, which it will.
Because even like the casual fans get confused about like sometimes about like what Marvel is doing, and I feel like for the most part they're just pretty straightforward with it, with their cinematic universe. So I'm like, if the MCU is confusing to casual fans, doing stuff like that, this is confusing to fans like me who actually try to like stay current with everything, and I'm like, I'm confused about what they're doing.
Well, and what's funny is like in the Arrowverse they had like the Suicide Squad and they had like Amanda Waller and they had these characters and they had to like kill them off in the show because of the movies, because I don't know if they just didn't want confusion, and I'm like, well, this is all you're doing right now is creating confusion.
They should have found a way to make the shows and the movies coexist.
I mean, honestly, I'm a huge fan of the DC TV shows, so like I feel like it would have only helped the movies because they already have a fan base. Like, you don't need to do I've had this argument before about Marvel stuff. I'm like, you don't need to have an origin story for these characters. If people want to know the origin story, it's like, go back and watch the TV show from the beginning. Like, you don't feel like you have to explain why this is so much. It's like, go back and watch, and then you'll know why this is.
I've only watched like the first season of The Flash. I'm not really too much into the DC TV shows, but from the basic knowledge I do have, he's jumped to different universes by the Speed Force or whatever different factors there are. So they could have had him be a new character in the DCEU by having him like jump into a new Earth. Yeah. And that way he would have been like new to that universe, but then he could kind of jump back and forth between the shows and movies if they wanted to do movies or incorporate them in that way. I mean, that's just one way of doing it. I mean, it may not be right.
In my opinion, TV Flash is way better than movie Flash. So it's really hard for me to watch Justice League and watch the Flash. I'm just like, you're not as good as the TV one. So it's really
that is
really
one
hard.
of the downsides, is that there is now that comparison between like, that wasn't, to have especially that particular character, because they don't have a Green Arrow in the DCU yet, so there's no comparison there. But the Flash is like, that's just a straight up comparison. And then if they do a Supergirl movie, which apparently they're more interested in than to make a Man of Steel 2, then they're going to have that comparison. Yeah. And so, I mean, and vice versa, because, I've heard a lot of people say that the Superman in the TV shows is not nearly as good as Henry Cavill.
It just depends. There are things that I like what they do with the Superman on Supergirl, is that he smiles once in a while. It's not like this super like...
Well, he had a fake CGI smile in Justice
it's because it's not as dark. Like the DCEU, everything is so dark, and Superman just is very scowly and like, But in the TV show,
he's like, what?
In the TV show, he kind of like joked around and kind of had like some charisma to him and was a little bit. While I don't think he 100% looked the part, because he's very small. He's probably like average height, but especially I've been so used to Henry Cavill, who's like this massive dude.
Like he is Superman.
And I mean, I could get into other issues with the casting of the TV version, just he was a little young. But anyways, but yeah, so like there's going to be some back and forth with when they're trying to introduce characters that already exist on the TV shows. I mean, you can't just kill them off like they did with Suicide Squad and Amanda Waller and a bunch of other characters that were like, no, we need those.
And then that brings up another point is like, how are they going to address that if this turns out to be factual?
Yeah, they already did the death of Superman.
Yeah, like
they wasted it.
Like, others be like, oh, he's off trying to find Krypton or something, like something stupid. Like, I feel like I hope it's not true because I want to see a Man of Steel too.
I want a Man of Steel too.
I really want to see what they could do.
It's always been my complaint that they did Justice League too soon, in my opinion. I feel if they were going to do Batman versus Superman, they should have at least done Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel 2, and then do like have Man of Steel 2 with him dying with like, or actually no, I always thought he should have died in that first Justice League and then came back in the second Justice League, because I don't know, we haven't really got to see him be Superman like enough to the world, like, you know, like saving the day and doing it was like, you know, so we're, you know, all these characters, we're supposed to believe that they care that he died. And I'm like, well, Batman knew him for like 5 seconds, and so did Wonder Woman. And they're all like, oh, we're so sad. And I'm like, no, who knows who this guy is?
Yeah, it could have been like an interesting, almost, you know, like...
I wish they had just waited for the death of Superman story just a little bit longer until his Superman, and Clark Kent were a little more... actually... Well, yeah.
With his death, I mean, though, but like, yeah. You know, fall during battle, then have all them be like,
oh, shit,
we gotta,
yeah.
like...
So it would have, to me, it would have had a little more impact, because then we would have gotten to see him be the hope to the world that he's supposed to be, and they kept talking about, and I'm like, when did that happen? We haven't seen that on screen.
That one scene where he was saving that person from the roof or whatever.
I know. That was pretty much it. I mean, what, like a Batman vs Superman, I think somebody counted and he only had like 45 lines or something in the movie. Like, this is like a 3-hour movie and he had like no talking. Yeah, and he was like, he had like no like lines, and it was just, that movie was so dark, and it was just, and I don't mind that it was dark. I don't like that Superman, it's okay to have him have dark, like,
it would have been interesting
waves,
to have that.
But we haven't really gotten to see the lighter side, like the light that's supposed to be showing hope to the world and all that. Like, it's all just been him like scowling the whole time. So that's been my biggest complaint. Like, but yeah, I think they could have waited and done the death of Superman.
Well, now I bet they wish they waited until now.
I mean, yeah, now they're like, shoot.
Because then if they could have, you know, later down the line kind of reconvinced him to come back, then they could have brought him back.
I know. They're like, that's a bad. Or just get somebody that looks like him. They're like, you look different. You were taller before.
So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they address his absence, or are they just going to be like
reboot? Like, who knows?
If they do a full, well, but then with Wonder Woman, I know.
The best part of the DCEU is Wonder Woman.
It's like they don't want to mess that up. Yeah, you couldn't redo that. Because like, even if they waited like 3 or 4 years and like, you know, we're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
You know, let there be a pause so that way we can kind of reboot the universe. Like, you couldn't recast Wonder Woman and expect it to be anywhere near as good as it is right now.
Oh no.
Like she should. I mean, if that was the case, I hope that they would just do a third Wonder Woman movie, just finish off that trilogy and just be like, you know what, it is what it is.
The DCEU and try to do it more cohesively and make everything kind of fit in a little better.
But I feel like at this point that would still be really hard with
everything's still so like
because
fresh,
because now because Wonder Woman was so well done.
Yeah.
But now we're having like Aquaman, his first movie. True. Like we have all these movies coming out, so to recast all of that, I feel like would just be as equally detrimental as losing Superman.
Yeah. So who knows?
So maybe, they're in a tough spot.
You know, if it's confirmed that he's actually done. They, like you said, they might change. I know the Flash movie was originally supposed to be Flashpoint, which I was like, this is way too early to be doing Flashpoint. We don't even know this Flash. And then you're going to start with Flashpoint. Like, that's ridiculous. But then they changed it, and we're like, we're not doing Flashpoint. Because apparently they heard me. I don't know. And so, but you know, they may decide to either do the Flash movie and then do a quick Flashpoint right after. Or just make that first one Flashpoint and try to reboot this whole thing. Who knows?
Long story short, Warner Brothers, just give him what he asked for.
I know, give him all the money.
25 million, 50 million, 100 million, just give it to him.
And then give us a little. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. Just give us the money.
Because we're consultants. We gave them their brilliant idea.
Yeah. But yeah, so let us know what you guys thought in the comments. If you think this is a horrible idea, or if you're okay with having a supermanless DCEU. Yeah, let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.